I want to talk to you about how to accept P2P payments at your business. So I'm speaking about peer-to-peer payments this year. So here are the facts I want you to really pay attention to. The thing is that when you think about peer-to-peer payments, you are thinking about you opening up a new world of possibilities when it comes to revenue in your business, okay? So you are also allowing P2P payment apps to let customers pay you quickly using their phones. I mean, we live in a world right now where phones are very big in our lives, and a lot of people use phones for everything, for shopping, online shopping, for browsing, for reading, for everything. So P2P payment apps enable one person to quickly send money to another by scanning their unique QR code or by finding their username in the payment app. And these digital payment platforms, including Venmo, Square's Cash App, and Zelle, have found a niche in consumer-to-consumer transactions, C2C, making it very easy to, for example, to split a check with friends at a restaurant, okay? But the cool thing is that you can also actually use the P2P payments at your business to actually make sure that you are getting paid a lot faster, okay? But these services are not just for settling up with friends. Merchants can also accept payments from customers by opening business accounts with many of the same P2P apps popular with consumers. And we actually have a series of videos around P2P for business accounts, okay? And one thing for sure, remember that these services, this P2P payment apps, do not replace cards and cash, but the convenience can be useful, especially in circumstances that require flexibility and accountability, okay? Like for businesses that operate in many different locations, or for payments that don't need to be in person, such as paying rent, okay? And so it's one of those things where if you are a business, what you really care about is just getting paid, right? That's all it is. You want to have this flexibility of knowing that you are actually generating revenue and the cash is coming in. So that's what P2P payment apps actually allow you to have, the flexibility and accountability to get paid when you should be paying. I mean, what you should be paid, and also having it in a pretty streamlined manner. So you have confirmation that the customer has paid, and most importantly, that money is on its way in your bank account. So I'm still talking to you about how to accept peer-to-peer payments at your business. So here are the specs I want you to really pay attention to. Before I actually go into the nitty-gritty of accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business, I want to really talk a little bit about the P2P business account basics. And what I want to do is I want to do a business account versus personal account, so you have a clear idea what the differences are. Okay, so registering for a business account instead of using your personal account has a few advantages. You might be able to transfer larger amounts to your bank accounts compared to a personal account, and you will get the proper tax forms. Some P2P providers will actually compile transaction details and send you a 1099-K form, which you will need when you file taxes, okay? And that's the second possibility. And the third possibility is that you can make it easier for your customers to find your profile, because I mean, as I said before, P2P payment apps are so ubiquitous nowadays that everybody uses them, and everybody uses them. So you are able to get more accessibility here. So if it's really an option, creating a business profile can make it easier for customers to actually trust that they are sending money to the right place, which is really critical, as P2P apps usually don't facilitate refunds if money is sent to the wrong person, okay? Now let me talk to you about getting started with P2P payments, especially if you are a business, okay? So opening an account is quick and straightforward, so that's really good. I mean, nothing really complicated here. And so one thing for sure, that signing up can be as simple and as downloading the app, okay, creating a profile and linking to a bank account. So that's really good. And the thing is that no applications or approvals are needed, okay? So that really adds an extra layer of simplicity to the whole platform. In many cases, if you already have a personal account, you can create a business account after logging in, and you can even switch to a business account from your personal account. So opening an account is quick and straightforward, nothing really complicated. To accept payments, you will provide customers with an image of your account's QR code generated for you by the app, or another method to find you, like a username, for instance. Please make sure that the username is really you, though, because if you have a username that's pretty common, You do not want the customers to send the money to the wrong account. And after a customer pays, you should really receive a notification right away that, hey, listen, you've gotten cash in your account, and that really should confirm to you that you have done the right things. So when you think about how to accept peer-to-peer payments as your business, you got to really think about fees and transferring money. Okay, that's one of those things where fees whenever applicable, will eat into your revenue, will eat into your cash flows. Okay, and and there are two scenarios when it comes to fees and transferring money, especially when they relate to P2P payments at your business. So I want to first talk to you about sending or receiving funds, and I want to talk to you about how fast the funds can go to your bank account. So sending or receiving funds are both often free when using a personal account. However, some apps charge businesses a percentage of the transaction to receive money, similar to card processing fees. I mean, they're not huge amounts like 2%, 3%, but hey, listen, while they are there, they should be part of your budget. You should really account for them. You should think about the strategy here, and that's an important element to think about. And with some services, funds go directly to your bank immediately. Okay. With others, funds are credited to your account in the app, and if so, you can then transfer funds to your bank account. So this transfer happens automatically. Okay, that's really important, and this process can take a couple of days. Though in some cases, you have the option to transfer instantly, often for a fee. Like you can, the fee can be 1.75%. It can be a 2%. But again, those are small amount. Those are small numbers, but in the grand scheme of things, they are they are really significant. Okay. One thing I want to say about fees and transferring money also is that if you are able to negotiate let's say a batch processing model with a P2P platform, they can actually waive the transaction fee for you. But this actually requires you to actually have a significant volume of transaction, and to also be with a P2P platform for a while, because for them to really do you a favor, that kind of favor, they have to see that you are bringing a certain inflow of transactions to their ecosystem, because it's all about, it has to be a win-win solution for them. Otherwise, they're not going to do it for you. I mean, it's one of those things where if you want to accept peer-to-peer payments at your business, you have to just accept also that you might have to pay fees on the front end of things. So let me talk to you about the evaluation here. So if you want to accept peer-to-peer payments at your business, what are the pros and cons of accepting those payments? I want to first talk to you about the pros, and then I'll quickly talk about the cons, so you have a better idea how to position yourself. Okay. So the pros first. What are the pluses? The main pluses of accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business. Well, the thing is that when you think about a peer-to-peer platform, this platform travels really well. You have modest fees, and you have easier routine payments with trusted contacts. Okay. The thing is that your customers are already used to using the P2P platform. So for them to actually switch from an individual to you as a business, that's a lot easier, because it's a process they are already comfortable with, and they have been using for the last whatever years or weeks for that matter, or months. Okay. So it travels well. What does this mean? It means that there is no need to lug around equipment. All you need is your QR code displayed somewhere, like a business card, a sheet of paper, or a sign. And you'll probably also want a phone handy to make sure the transaction went through, right? Because the last thing you want is to actually, think that you got paid, but then you realize in the end that you didn't get paid. Okay, so you want to make sure that the transaction went through. You got to have the notification. You got to have a positive confirmation from the P2P platform. And in terms of the modest fees, so P2P services typically incentivize users to pay via methods that are cheaper to process than credit cards, such as ACH transactions or debit cards. So that's kind of cool. And as a result, merchants generally pay less for a P2P transaction than an equivalent credit card transaction. Okay, maybe a 1% or 1.5%. So that's really the customary sort of model here. And then you have easier routine payments with trusted contacts. So P2P payments can be a good replacement for payments that have traditionally been made with cash or checks, like rent, dog walking, or lawn care services, right? It's all about the flexibility that you really will need here, okay? And that's really cool. And one thing I want to say also is that when your customers are pretty known, are pretty comfortable with using an option, that's even better. Now, so those are a few pros that you might want to think about when it comes to accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business. What about the cons here? What are some of the minuses to really envision this year? Well, you have a fragmented ecosystem. The platform supports services that are not really always up to notch, if you will, up to top notch, and transferring funds can be a burden. And let me break it down for you. So one thing I want to say here is that maybe you accept Venmo, right? But a customer wants to pay with Cash App. Do you sign up and manage multiple services, or do you pick one and hope that it works for most people? It depends on where your focus is at. If you are focused on your clients, then you want to go with one particular app. But if you focus on revenue generation, then you want to really sign up for whatever is suitable to your customers, right? So it really depends on the kind of vision you have. And so one thing for sure, there's nothing bad with accepting all three of them, like Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle, for instance, for that matter. Okay, it's all about being very, very flexible here. And the one thing for sure, if you have an established audience, if you have an established customer base, and you have known them for a while, you are able to know their habits, their routines, what kind of ecosystem they go with, and you can just stick to one as opposed to having all three of them. And also, a card transaction is an established process, often embedded in a point of sale system that can calculate taxes, track inventory, facilitate returns, create reports, and more. On the other hand, P2P apps are boiled down to the essentials, one field for the total amount and one field for the recipient, and often do not integrate with the POS systems that you rely on, leaving you to figure out how to fill the gap. And so this could be a problem for most business owners, most merchants. Also, one major difference between the P2P payment apps and card transactions is that funds received typically are not always routed straight to your bank. They don't happen seamlessly and simultaneously. There are some intermediary sort of steps, and so these transactions might instead be credited to your account on the app. From there, you can transfer to your bank. And so furthermore, some payment services actually cap the amount you can transfer per week. Luckily, if you have a business, if you have a legit business and you are actually registered as a business account, there are no caps on the flow of revenue that you can transfer into your bank account. So that's really good because it gives more flexibility. Let me talk to you now about the providers. So if you are thinking about accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business this year, what kind of providers should you be actually thinking about? Should you be contemplating this year? Okay. So when we talk about the P2P payment providers, the first one that I want you to really think about is Cash App. So if you have a business, an online business, or a brick and mortar business, an offline business, think about implementing let's say a Cash App sort of conduit into your business. That will help you a lot in terms of flexibility. That will help you also in terms of functionality. Okay, that's really important to think about that way. So if you are a business that uses Square as a point of sale system, you can integrate actually Cash App data into Square's reporting features and display QR codes directly on checkout devices. Square and Cash App share a common owner block. Okay. And that's really good in terms of flexibility. You are really well served there, and you have in terms of users, the user base is pretty substantial. You have more than 70 million users in the States at least use Cash App, so that's really cool. And but the fees are a little steep compared to the competition. Basically, merchants pay 2.75% per transaction. So if you are a merchant and you are interested in going the Cash App route, just expect to pay 2.75% per transaction. and there's no limit as to the cost. This is a percentage based sort of model. Okay. In terms of transfer time and cost, you have instant cash outs actually take a few minutes and are free for a business account. So that's really good because it really instills a layer of flexibility and accountability. I mean, if you are a merchant, especially if you are a high volume merchant and you want to really transfer money into your account every single day for liquidity, for cash flow reasons, for working capital reasons, actually Cash App is actually facilitating that for you. Now you have Venmo. So if you are thinking about accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business this year, I want you to consider, besides Cash App, I want you to consider Venmo. And Venmo actually has a few helpful tools, like the option to prompt customers for tips and assistance facilitating returns that other apps don't have. Okay. In addition to being a standalone P2P platform, Venmo can be incorporated into PayPal's online checkout. By the way, PayPal owns Venmo. We did an entire video on Venmo so that you have a clear idea of what this P2P platform really stands for. Okay, this is really important to really think about it. So in terms of users with Venmo, you have a user base that's kind of similar to Venmo. Okay, to Cash App, you have more than 70 million people, but the fees are way better. I mean, Cash App is a little steeper when it comes to fees here. So when you think about Venmo, as a merchant, you pay 1.9% plus 10 cents per transaction. And the transfer, when it comes to a transfer time and cost, basically standard transfers take 1 to 3 business days and are free. So if you are willing to wait that long, that's fine. I mean, Venmo ain't charging you anything. Now, instant transfers, on the other hand, they cost 1.5% of the amount transferred, with a minimum fee of 25 cents and a maximum fee of $15. And so you can see that basically, even though Cash App actually is more expensive on the fees, on the fee aspect of things, Cash App actually has instant transfers for free, and Venmo doesn't. So you have to see what works for you. If time is important for you, then and you are willing to pay for convenience, then you might want to go with the Venmo. Now, one thing for sure, if you are already in let's say in the PayPal ecosystem, switching between Venmo and PayPal may be straightforward to you because both are owned by the same company, PayPal, right? And it's one of those things where you have to see what kind of payment comes with your target audience, your customer base usually uses to really make the right choice. If you are thinking about accepting peer-to-peer payments at your business this year, I want you to consider Zelle. Okay, now Zelle has its own app, but it has benefited by partnering with thousands of individual banks across the country, which can really deploy the technology within their own digital products. And it's also interoperable, meaning that a person whose bank uses this service can send and receive money to someone who banks elsewhere. So that's kind of cool. And Zelle does not send 1099-K tax forms that compile transaction details, so you'll need to track this another way. So Zelle stands out for fee-free payments and quick transfers, which can be really good for you, especially if you have the kind of account that really necessitates this kind of fast transfers. Okay. Now, one thing I want to tell you here is that Zelle, in terms of the number of users, Zelle does not disclose the number of users, but more than 100 million people have access to it through their banks. So that's the biggie. I mean, that's way more than Cash App, 70 million, and Venmo, 70 million. Okay, having this large access is really good. By the way, Zelle is owned by, was created and was founded by private banks such as Bank of America, Chase, and so on and so forth. So banks are behind Zelle. So just so you know. And in terms of fees, Zelle does not charge merchants fees to receive payments. Banks that are in Zelle's network can choose to charge fees, but a Zelle representative said that this is highly uncommon when we asked the question. And it's one of those things where Zelle is trying to really streamline the whole payment process across the board, so you are able to get things done a lot faster. Okay, and in terms of transfer time and cost, transfers go directly to your bank account and usually occur within minutes of a transaction. So there is no there's no sort of delay here, and you also have a flexibility in terms of interoperability. Okay, and that's really good right off the bat. One thing I want to say also is that when you actually consider a Zelle, I want you to think about the fact that the this app is really flexible. If if you are a merchant and you are at a bank that doesn't use Zelle, you are able to download the app as a standalone app. You don't have to get it through your bank. You can get it as a standalone app and still actually activate it, and allow your customers to actually pay you through a Zelle. What will happen here is that you're not going to have the money in your account right away, but you will have a Zelle balance, and then you can transfer your Zelle balance later on into your account. So that's really good. We actually finished a whole video on Zelle for Business, how to really go about that, and how to do everything to make sure that you are actually covering all important areas of your business operations this year. So here's the epilogue here. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to accept peer-to-peer payments at your business. I give you the facts, the specs, the evaluation, the providers, and now the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.